For those of you who've been watching all my unboxings, this kind of shaped box should give you a clue as to what brand this is. This is from Andrew Savicko's Parkhurst brand. New pair of boots from them, so let's have a look. How you going? Welcome back to Bootlosophy. If we haven't met, my name is Tech. If we have met, I think you will recognize this sort of elongated shipping box, which is a pair of boots from Parkhurst. Now this arrived several days ago, but I was actually away in the Northern Territory on a job. And when I got back and I picked it up from the post office, quite excited, but that was a couple of days ago. And I actually had the patience to hang on to it until today, Saturday, so that I could actually do the unboxing properly. It's still sealed, so we're about to go into it. Let's go. So I'm using this craft knife that was made by my grandfather, who was a very crafty person. He made all kinds of statues and automatons, little clockwork type toys, real handyman. Okay. So let's open this up. As usual, Parkhurst ships in a shipping box with no additional shoebox on the inside. It's quite rare in the sense that this is usually a longish rectangle rather than a square shoebox. Now, part protected with paper and so on. This is the usual thank you card from Andrew, signed by Andrew. And then what I take to be a spare set of laces. I'm assuming there's a set of laces on the boots, separated by paper. I'm going to do this a bit differently. It has the usual boot bags, and nowadays not many of Parkhurst boot bags have the Parkhurst logo on them. I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to take the boots out and then take them out of their bags at the same time. This is going to be quite revealing, and I'm going to ask my cinematographer for her opinion on the color. This is called the Blue Depths Rambler. It's quite a blue boot. What do you think, love?
I love it.
It's usual Andrew's 602M last. It's the Richmond model with the cap toe. The Allen is the plain toe. This is in CF Stead's Rambler leather, and it's called Blue Depths, which is a very bluish boot. I wrote Andrew about this before I bought this and said, look, Andrew, how blue is the Blue Depths Rambler? And he wrote back with one sentence, it is blue, man. Rambler is a CF Stead tannage. It's finished on the flesh side, and it's a shrunken suede, so you can see the suede finish there in the nap. All right? So it's a reverse suede, if you like. And the way it's finished is it's finished with a lot of waxes so that you get this marbling effect. And like all Ramblers, you get the veins from the underside of the flesh, obviously, showing onto the finish. It is really difficult to click so that the pieces actually match. So let me show you that by taking out the other boot. So this is what I mean by it's quite difficult to match, trying to get some evenness. And I think Truman gets a lot of stick, for example, because people who don't understand Rambler say, oh, look, it doesn't match. But that is the beauty of Rambler, I think, in that it is very hard to get matching pieces of leather. But let's take one at a time. So it comes with a flat cotton lace, and you get this round cotton lace as a spare. It's very, very dark blue. I guess more navy than indigo. The uppers leather is just gorgeous with all of these scratches and things. It's Goodyear welted. I actually think this is my first 270-degree Goodyear welt at Parkhurst. They're normally 360-degree Goodyear welted. That means the welting starts from there, goes all the way around in there, as opposed to the 360, which goes all the way around. This comes from his Spanish factory, and you can see it's a split reverse welt, and you can tell because the edge of that leather is unfinished. And what happens with that welt is it's partly split through, peeled open and pushed up against it with the lower half inside, stitched to the insole. And then the outside edge of the welt is stitched through to the midsole and the outsole, that's the stitch you see. It has a cork filler, it has a steel shank. The vamp is lined, but not the shaft. The welt, the insole and the midsole, which you can see here, can you see the lighter color? That's the welt. The darker color is the midsole. They're all veg tan leather, as are these stacks of leather making up the stacked heel, on top of which sits a proprietary rubber heel, and this proprietary rubber sole, made in Spain, I believe, but modeled after the Ridgeway sole. One of my favorite soles, in fact, I think it is my favorite sole, the Ridgeway sole. And this, unlike the Vibram Londra sole, which has sort of a slightly different pattern and thicker lugs, this and the Richmond, I think just feel the same. They're really perfect. Quite a stiff boot, so that will need a bit of breaking in terms of the sole construction. As for finishing, I mean, you can see that the welt stitching is really quite good, very even, very clean. The stitching on the uppers, as usual, is very even, very clean. Quadruple stitch there, double stitch there, up the single piece backstay, single stitching along there where it doesn't really need reinforcement, triple stitching on the cap toe. I don't believe that's a second cap toe, second leather cap toe. The leather vamp goes up to here, then the cap toe comes up and it's stitched together. But you know, unless you're working in the mines or something, it doesn't really matter these days. Yeah, I mean the finishing is really, really good from what I can see. Brass, antique brass hardware. Let's take a look at the other boot. Again, I don't really see any errors in the stitching. The rough bits on the leather is what you would expect from Rambler. This is almost suede in this patch. Okay, so I'm going to put them on, and I know how they fit. I just want to know how they feel. Okay, they slipped in all right. I've decided to keep these flat cotton laces on because I think they look better than those round ones, which I also know from experience is actually quite difficult to tie up and keep the friction on. The fit is perfect. I'm at 8.5 Brannock. These are size 8 from Parkhurst. I already know my Parkhurst size in the 602 and the 618 and the 602M, which these are. So there's no worries about fit, and there's not even any stress or fear about whether or not they are going to fit. Out here in the sunshine, you can see that it is quite blue, but I like them because they're a dark blue. They go well with jeans, and I think they'll actually go well with khaki jeans. Interestingly, the 270-degree Goodyear welt feels quite stiff in the flex at the ball. Not uncomfortable, just that I think these will require a bit more of a break-in than some of his other boots. Let's walk over the sunshine and see what it looks like in the sun. Certainly comfortable to walk on. I do like those Ridgeway soles. See, they're not as shockingly indigo as the R.M. Williams Urban Turnouts in indigo. More of a navy blue, and you can see the scarring and veining on the uppers there, can't you? Much better in this light, I think. Very nice. They feel good. Usual 602M feeling of being roomy in the width of the foot. Cups your heel in so there's no heel slip even though it's quite stiff to bend. Enough room in the toes. People say that's an almond toe or a pointy toe. It is an almond shaped toe, but it's not at all pointy. And because of the combination last, there's plenty of room in the foot. If you get the right size, my toe is there, so there's a good thumb's width in front of it. Very comfy. Okay, let's finish up. So there you are, another Parkhurst pair to add to my burgeoning collection. I bought these ultimately because I wanted them when they first came out and I didn't get them. I had bought 4 more pairs at that time when Andrew dropped his 2025 collection. And so ultimately Andrew told me that this was starting to run out, so I thought, oh well, what the hell, I'm going to get a pair. So what do you think of them, Amanda?
I love the colour of the texture.
Okay, love it. Okay, so look, you know what to do. If you like the video, click on the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm going to bring lots of other boots to you in reviews as well as unboxings, so subscribe and you don't miss out. All right, guys, take care and I'll see you soon.